Welcome to another video. Today I am playing Marincess in the All Link Festival. Actually pretty fun. The deck is super complicated though, and I am definitely messing up these combos. So if I'm making mistakes, let me know down in the comments. I'll try and get better at this deck. I think it's worth a shot playing it in Rank Ladder, so I'll definitely give it a shot in Rank Ladder with some XZ monsters as well, because it does make pretty strong boards. Now, the really fun part of this deck is that your end boss is basically unaffected by card effects and has a ridiculously high attack stat. Even gives you a nice little spell negate. So that is pretty cool. Just link summoning right now. You can see basically all these Marincess cards either have an effect to ascend to the graveyard or special summon themselves in some fashion. So once you get enough on the field, you can start doing link plays. Now, I make a little bit of a mistake here. What you want to do is make the coral triangle, which we are going to do. Coral triangle lets you search for a Marincess trap card. And once you have that, you search for Marincess trap, which makes all of their Marincess link monsters unaffected by card effects for the entire turn and negates a monster effect. So that's a pretty sweet effect. You get to search it. But what we should have done here, but instead of just making it straight up, is we should have started by making a Crystal Heart. Crystal Heart, a link to that if used as a link monster, when you have the Battle Ocean will make your monster unaffected by other card effects. So basically double unaffected. We're going to make a little bit of a mistake here. We are going to activate the Battle Ocean, that is correct. But we're going to make the the Coral Triangle a little too early. Should have made the Crystal Heart first. So it's okay. We can extend out of it, but it would have been better and would have left us with more cards in hand. So it is a complicated deck to play. The combos are quite long, and you're going to have to change them based on what's going on in your hand and if your opponent has disruption. But here's the ultimate boss, Aqua Argonaut, and that is going to make it so that your opponent can't attack any monster except this one, and you can once per turn negate a spell effect by sending one of the equipped Marincess cards, which you're going to see in a second, special summoning one of the equipped Marincess cards to negate a spell effect, and on your turn, you can return a Marincess to your hand and return a card on the opponent's field to hand. So we're just going to activate Maxi on the standby phase. Opponent is playing Umi Control. After my own heart, senpai. Opponent, use an Ice Stray Tamora to special summon a legendary Fisherman opponent. This Giga Chad. I should just concede. But opponent, for me to concede, you have to summon Legendary Fisherman 3. Legendary Fisherman 3, wipe my field, banish my monster, attack me for double damage. Let's see it, opponent. Where's that Legendary Fisherman? We're going to accidentally... I was so excited. I negated Sea Stealth 2's activation, which doesn't do anything. So I wasted my negate there. Opponent can still activate the Sea Stealth during the battle phase. But opponent just goes, sets a back row, just goes to end phase. Not special summoning something from the hand. And now I'm worried. I got to make sure that Legendary Fisherman 3 doesn't come out. So let's start by special summoning the Sleepy Maiden. Target a monster while it's in your hand. You can special summon it. And while it's in the monster zone, the targeted card can't be destroyed by card effects. Opponent activating Sea Stealth attack. If we left this Sleepy Maiden on the field, we could attack through the Sea Stealth attack. Would not pop us, but what we're going to do is get rid of that Sea Stealth attack. We're just going to get rid of it right now. That is the thing I'm most worried about at the moment. Opponent going to activate to banish their Legendary Fisherman. Alright, very acceptable opponent. We're going to return our Sleepy Maiden hand, and we're going to use Marincess Dive. The Legendary Ocean is actually reducing the level of our monsters, so we could have normal summoned the Sleepy Maiden, but we're just going to special summon it with a Pascalis effect. Marincess Blue Slug returns a Marincess to our hand from the graveyard, and we got lethal in a multitude of ways here. We're just going to make a Water Charmer with our last two monsters, special summon the Spring Girl in attack mode, and just get lethalizing. We'll be back with the Legendary Fisherman ourselves. We'll teach our opponent how to do Legendary Fisherman the right way. So Oppa Senpai, make sure you watch my channel, see how to make a really solid Legendary Fisherman deck. I'll show Oppa's deck at the end of the video, and I'll show this Marincess deck at the end of the video. But before I do, let's go on to the next game. If you'd like to see more Legendary Fisherman gameplay in the future, make sure you subscribe. There'll be a upcoming project for the Link Festival before it's all gone. Well, let's start with a blue Tang. This is the strongest starter in the deck. Usually you'd send a Spring Girl to graveyard, but you can also send the Mandarin or a Seahorse. We got everything in hand right now. Opponent activated Max C, and I will say, everyone knows about this deck, Marincess, and everybody is playing 1,000 counters to it. So you will see a lot of disruption. You'll see Max C's, you'll see Nibiru's, you'll see Kaiju. And opponent imperming here, this imperm doesn't do anything. Normally this would be quite disruptive if we had only one starter, but we got 3 starters in hand. We are not suffering from that imperm at all. Even get to add a Sleepy Maiden. Another free extender here. Let's special summon the Spring Girl by banishing from the graveyard. Link into the Sea Angel. This lets us search for the spell, and usually, I made a bit of a mistake here. Usually you actually want to search for the Marincess Dive to extend more, but we have enough extensions, we don't need it. So we're just going to search for the Battle Ocean. A lot of Marincess decks run us at 1. I think maybe it'd be okay to run at 2, because if it gets destroyed or banished, you're in a lot of trouble. You don't really have a way to win without this spell. Let's make that Crystal Heart the way we're supposed to. Make the Coral Anemone. Now with Crystal Heart, if we use it as a link material, the monster that's summoned using it as a material is unaffected by card effects. Still can get Kaiju'd, but it's essentially immune. So this Aqua Argonaut, opponent can't attack other monsters. Aqua Argonaut immune from card effects because it was summoned using that Crystal Heart. We also get to boost its attack, and it has a spell negate. And we have the Marincess Wave to negate a monster effect on our opponent's turn. And we have an imperm. So opponent, how are you going to get through this? How are you going to get through this? Let's pass to the opponent with our Splash Mage, special summoning a Marbled Rock. We're just going to add another Marincess back to our hand so we can do it next turn. Set our back row, pass to the opponent. See what they got. Opponent got a Lightning Storm. That is not going to stop us. Aqua Argonaut going to negate. Destroying this field spell is a way to get around this. But because of the Aqua Argonaut's effect to negate spells, they need 2 ways to remove a spell. Often, our opponent is playing Tri-Brigade. Special summoning some Tri-Brigades. We're just going to let this happen. We're not going to negate or pop anything until our opponent gives us a reason to. Opponent adding a Fractal to hand. And activating the Fractal effect to send a Kit to the graveyard, but that sends a Nerval, and opponent already used Nerval's effect this turn. So, not sure what opponent's plan was there. Let's activate Coral Anemone, get a monster to our field, special summon the Spring Girl, and now we want to target for our Aqua Argonaut. Let's return the Spring Girl to hand, return our opponent's monster to the extra deck. Opponent has nothing. Let's link into the Bubble Reef and get attacking for lethal. After all these effects resolve, of course. Marincess, pretty durable deck. Has a lot of grind game. You're able to summon very easily, and if your materials get interrupted, you usually can extend quite far. So yeah, lets us play a high density of hand traps, and opponent is done. Alright, let's go on to the next game. Now, you're going to see some very sloppy Marincess gameplay. In these games, I was still learning the deck, and I was not searching for the Marincess Dive Trap, which is definitely something you're going to want to be doing if you're playing this deck in a competitive fashion. But, you know, even playing it as a bit of a fool, a bit of a noob, we're still able to make some pretty solid combos here just by vomiting all the monsters onto the field. One little cool tech, Sea Archiver. If a monster is summoned to a zone a link monster points to, you can special summon this from your hand or graveyard. Let's make that Crystal Heart. Get the Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone can summon Crystal Heart from the graveyard. This is tie into a lot of combos the deck has. And let's make that Aqua Argonaut unaffected by card effects. Spell negate. And it's going to have 4,300 attack points. Just kidding, 4,900, because we can attach another material to it using the effect of Sleepy Maiden, but opponent Kaijuing. This is the only out. This is the only out to Marincess. Are we done for? Opponent is playing Umi Control, but they're setting a bunch of back row. Well, we know how to play through Umi Control. Umi Control, the deck I created myself personally. Opponent activating Sea Stealth Attack. That is the one card we are afraid of. If opponent has a level 5 or higher monster, Sea Stealth Attack gonna be a big problem. Also, Umi. This Umi, aka Sea Stealth Attack 2, can special summon a monster from their hand or graveyard, and then they can keep it on the field with a Sea Stealth attack. So we need to make sure to get rid of some of these pieces if we can. We're just going to wombo combo, get that Aqua Argonaut, and now we can return a card to the hand. And that is going to be our saving grace here. Anemone going to give us the White Seahorse, the Marincess Seahorse, sorry. We're going to special summon some more monsters here. And then we're going to use the effect. There we go. Gotta finish searching here. Get that Marincess Dive. And we're going to use the effect of the Aqua Argonaut. Return the Link monster to hand. Return that Sea Stealth attack. And now we can Marincess Dive, special summon from the deck. Make a Link 2. Now this is a bit of a misplay, although there's not really a way to play this properly. If opponent had a water monster in the graveyard, we could summon it with Water Charmer to a zone it points to. So you can't summon it to a zone it points to if it's here, because you can't summon monsters to spell or trap zone. We're just comboing so hard, we don't even know what we're doing anymore. And you can see here, opponent was summoning the Ocean Dragonlord, and they're going to target our Kaiju. Can't target the Aqua Argonaut, it is unaffected by card effects. Let's attack, pop that Kaiju, or Ocean Dragonlord, sorry. Destroy that main of the Aqua, and opponent is not left with much. Setting what is presumably Sea Stealth attack. That's right. Let's activate in the graveyard. Return that Marincess Dive to hand. Call by the Grave can banish their Ocean Dragonlord, so they can't summon it back with the Sea Stealth 2. And now we just got to worry about their hand. So we're going to summon a monster, return the Sea Stealth to hand, get attacking, and opponent is going to be done. Now that's how you beat Umi Control as Marincess. Let's go on to one more game, and then I'll show off the deck list. Now you can see, opponent, even if they get rid of your boss monster, you can still grind them out. Do it all again on the next turn. Let's use Signet Mining. Signet, very vulnerable. Honestly, people do play this at 3 because it's a really reliable way to get your searchers, but the discard effect is a cost, which means if this gets ashed, you're -2. That's pretty rough. So keep that in mind. Maybe it'd be worth running Small World instead of Signet Mining. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that might be the right thing to do. Let's activate the Blue Slug. This is pretty much a 1-card combo. If you are playing Marincess competitively, you can make a rank 4 and get the Battle Ocean. If you have an extender, you can do all that and also have the Marincess Wave Trap. So we got the Trap, we got Spring Girl, we got Sea Archiver. Pretty easy. We didn't even need to do all of this. This is just lazy comboing, because you can do all this with one Marincess summon. You don't need this many extenders to do the combo, but we're going to do it the lazy way. Make that Crystal Heart. Link 4 into the boss. We got Marincess Wave to negate. We are unaffected because we summoned using the Crystal Heart. We got 43,000 attack points, and we can negate a spell effect. Let's see what our opponent's got. Activate Maxi on the standby phase. Opponent gonna Dark World Dealings. Do we need to negate this? No, this is a bad negate. I should not negate this. I'm just going ham here. I'm like, you're gonna try and make me draw a card and discard a card? No, negated. Opponent punishing with the Feather Duster. Lava Goleming. Now this is just savage. Opponents, they got the text. They got the text for the Marincess. Lava Golem gonna burn us for 1,000 damage. Let's see if we can combo again. Get that Spring Girl on the field. Blue Slug gonna return a monster from our graveyard to hand. Spring Girl gonna Chain Block. Sending a Maxi to the graveyard. Let's get that Seahorse back to hand. Special summon. Link into the Sea Angel. Now we don't have our Battle Ocean anymore, but we do have Marincess Dive. Mandarin gonna special summon itself to the field. Make that Coral Anemone. Coral Anemone gonna get the Crystal Heart from the graveyard. Dive, going to search. Now we should have probably at some point, no, yeah, okay, can't do it. There is a Marincess that lets us return spells from the graveyard to hand, but we don't have it on the field right now, and we can't search because we don't have the field spell. But we got lethal damage. Let's punish our opponent. Get them with their own Lava Golem. Teach them a lesson. And that's the power of Marincess. People running the answers, not enough. Alright, let's go on to the deck list. Alright, here is the Marincess deck list that I was running. Like I said, the deck is pretty lean, running the Marincess starters and then just a ton of interaction. We got 2 Kaijus to get rid of opponents' Marincesses. We got Harpy's Feather Duster to get rid of back row from Umi Control. If we can get around their protection from Sea Stealth attack. We got 3 copies of Cyanide Mining to search our starters. Lightning Storm, really great against Lynx because they all get summoned in attack mode. Marincess Dive at 3. You could even play a copy of Monster Reborn as a backup Marincess Dive because having this in hand with one of your starters gives you probably the strongest board you can make with Marincess. 1 copy of the Battle Ocean, obviously 2 Call by the Graves. We got to cross out 3 Imperms and a single copy of Marincess Wave. In the extra deck, we're running 2 of all these Marincess. We got a copy of Abyss Lacia, although thinking about this, there is no way to make this in this deck because all these monsters are Cybers. So get this out of here. Don't use that. That's garbage. Throw in another Marincess. Probably another Blue Slug would be fine. Or even another Bubble Reef. Here we go. Making live changes here. We got 2 copies of Sea Angel. We got 2 copies of Coral Anemone. We got the 1 Crystal Heart. You got the Splash Mage. You got Water Charmer to steal opponents' water monsters. We got the Marbled Rocks. We got Coral Triangle. 2 Bubble Reefs and an Argonaut. Pretty sweet deck. Had a lot of fun playing it. Probably going to play it again in Rank Ladder. Let me know if I should make any changes or if I'm making mistakes in the combos because I'm trying to get the combos right. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good night. Bonus content. Here is the opponent's deck list from that first game. They were playing Legendary Fisherman 3, ultimate Chad move, but they weren't doing it the right way. I'm going to show you next week how to build Legendary Fisherman the right way. We'll show off Legendary Fisherman, banish our opponent's entire field, teach them a lesson. Alright, see you next time.